Of course you're worthy of love. Why wouldn't you be? How could you not be worthy of love? Of course you're worthy of success.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Coming Clean Podcast. This is your host, Peter O. Estevez. And today we have none other than Miss Marisa Peer. Marisa Peer is a best-selling author, written 4 books on psychology, and she has over 3 decades of working with some of the world's best leaders, CEOs, and royalty, and helping them with a lot of their issues, a lot of their problems. Hello, Marisa, and welcome to Coming Clean Podcast.
Well, hi, and thank you for inviting me.
Marisa, as I mentioned to you before we got started, I've been following your journey for several years now, 12, 13 years. And I've really been amazed with a lot of the work that you do. And probably one of the movements that really caught my attention was when you started the I Am Enough movement. And I remember you recommending that people write that on the mirror. So with that in mind, that has changed, that has shifted. Today we have a plethora of life coaches, personal development gurus, people that are all over social media, all over the internet, that want to teach you, they want to teach us, they want to teach people how to travel through life in these difficult times. And I want to go there. I want to start right there with how do we know who to trust, who are the real leaders, and who do we follow? What advice do we listen to when we have such a plethora and there's such a difficult times, a need for people wanting to get help, but more importantly, wanting quick solutions?
That's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. But how do you know to trust? Because there is now so many people coaching, being therapists, and offering personal development. And unfortunately, some of them don't have much experience. I guess you have to look for a couple of things. Is this person authentic? Are they walking their talk? Are they practicing what they preach? How long have they been around? It's very easy for a 20-year-old to go, hey, I'm going to help you make millions, and I can, but they're not a millionaire. And I see that a lot. People who are not a millionaire going, I can help them. People who are not in a relationship going, I can help you have a great relationship. People who haven't got their body together saying, I can help you be fit and slim. And so it's important, I think, to walk your talk. I think everyone who comes into this business on the whole does have a good intention, but I guess there are some who think, well, it's a great way to make money. And I'm people who go, well, I can do what you do. We've trained 10,000 people now to be therapists, and we have a few, not many, go, well, look, I'm just going to do what you do now. I'm going to open my own school, and I'm going to be a speaker. I'm like, well, that's great, but you need a whole team behind you to market yourself. And so I think coaching and therapy, a lot of people just think it's easy. But it's not. If you look at people like Brené Brown and Byron Katie who are out there, they've got a really big heart. Who's the other girl I just love? Her name will come to me in a minute. They've got a big heart. Louise Hay had a big heart. So I think to be successful in this business, you have to have 3 things. You have to really want to do it because it's your calling. And you have to realize, why do you want to do it? And then you have to really work hard. I got most of my success came to in my late 40s because I began to write. I'd always been a successful therapist and I loved it, but I began to write books. And writing books means that you got to give a lot of yourself. You get up early, you go to bed late. But one of my friends who's a very successful head of a network said, people who are good make it look easy, but it doesn't mean it is easy. And I think that's the problem. You look at Tony Robbins and think, well, look at Tony Robbins. He just walks on stage. I know him very well. He's actually the loveliest person. But people who are gifted make it look easy. It's not always easy. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. But I think most people in this business do have a good heart. They do want to help. Wayne Dyer, I knew him very well. He was the loveliest man. And it's a shame when people like Wayne and Tony and me get told we're fakes. We're just in it for the money, because that simply isn't true. But how do you spot someone? I would say look at their track record. Look at what they do behind the scenes. Look at their life. Are they fit? Are they in a loving relationship? Are they successful? Because that will really let you know who you are. And I'm thinking of this blonde American girl with glasses. I just love her. It's annoying I can't remember her name. She just went public having her breast implants taken out. She had her own TV show. Do you know who that is, who I'm talking about?
Blonde girl with glasses.
Yeah, she's about in her mid-40s, I think.
Not Mel Robbins?
Mel Robbins, that's exactly.
Okay.
Mel Robbins, if you look at Mel, she's authentic. She's got a very long marriage. She's completely honest. She's out there and she's not pretending to be anything she isn't. So people like that, I would say, they're 100% genuine.
They're not actors. They're actually kind, loving people. Yeah, and I can see that in Mel. I can see that in you, Tony, and many of the people you name.
Yeah, and they're not going, hey, look at my Ferrari, look at my Beverly Hills mansion. It's not about what they've got, it's about what they can do for you. So if someone is turning up on screen and it's all the Ferrari, the Porsche, the mansion, the swimming pool, you don't need to tell people about that. You need to tell them, how can I help you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for going into that deep explanation of that. You know, Marisa, there's affirmations, manifestations, law of attraction, the secret.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we really manifest any of it when our mind is not helping us make the right choices?
Yeah, these are great questions because 80% of success comes down to mindset. The people who've got very confused with manifesting, I'm just going to sit at home on the couch and manifest a millionaire. I'm going to sit at home and manifest a great room. I'm going to sit at home and manifest. And it's not quite like that. Manifesting is putting your mind on what you want and believing you can get it. And again, if you want to be a master manifestor, you must have three things, and none of them can be disposed of. The first one is you must believe you're worthy. You absolutely have to sit down and say over and over again, I'm worthy of love, or I'm worthy of success, I'm worthy of having a fit body. You must make a decision that you are worth it and you deserve it, because if you don't, even if you get it, you're probably set about destroying it. And I know that because I've worked with so many rock stars and movie stars who go, I don't really know how I earn all this money. I don't really feel worthy. And you look at people like the Amy Winehouses of the world who systematically destroy what they've got because of an inner belief, I'm not worth it. So whatever you want, you must start with, I'm worth it. Of course you're worthy of love. Why wouldn't you be? How could you not be worthy of love? Of course you're worthy of success and joy and happiness. So that's the first step, and it is the most important. But the second step is you have to be prepared to work really hard. People say, no, I'm a manifester. But I had this very debate with somebody a few weeks ago. I said, I've got this great product, but I don't think I should work. If it's meant to be, the universe will send me customers and I don't have to work. I'm like, well, if you don't work, it probably won't work. And so many people now think, no, but surely I manifest. No, if you want a great person in your life, get out of the house and go to where great people are. If you want a great job, get qualified and go and look for one. You can't sit in the house and imagine your perfect person is going to just turn up at the door, or the perfect job is going to appear in your inbox. And so you have to work, and you have to work really hard on your way to success. Get up early, go to bed late, give it everything you've got. Luckily, when you make it, you don't actually have to work that hard. But I see some people say, well, I don't want my kid to work hard. Someone said to me recently, I don't work hard. And I've told my children they don't have to do anything they don't want to do ever. I'm like, well, good luck with that. Because even when you're super successful and super famous, you still have to do what you don't want to do. Get up, appear on stage, meet people. When I watched Whitney Houston's documentary, the hardest thing for her is when she came off stage, she couldn't just go to bed. She had to go out with people and party and meet everyone. And so she had to keep going, and she used drugs for that. And you think, why didn't that girl just come off stage and go to bed and go, I'm exhausted. I've given 1,000% of myself with this voice, and now I'm going to go to bed. But it's people who've made it still have to do what they don't want to do. And that's a mark of huge success. I've worked with many people who have stratospheric success. They all have the same thing. They do what they don't want to do to get to where they want to be. And the third thing, which is slightly less important, but it is important, is what does it look like? What does it look like? I don't know. I just want to be a millionaire, but for what? What are you going to do to me? What are you going to produce, create, sell, license? What is it? I don't know. I'm just going to be a millionaire, but for what? I want to meet a great person. What do they look like? What do they do? What are their values? I want to be super healthy. What does that look like? Does that look like going to the gym and not having candy in the house? So when you put all three together, I'm absolutely worth it. I'm telling myself I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I deserve it. I'm prepared to work really hard to give everything I've got and more. And I know what it looks like. Then it's very hard not to be successful when you have those three things going all the time. But you can't have one of them. You can't work really hard while believing you're not worth it. And you can't believe you're worth it and not work really hard. On your way to success, you've got to do all three. But if you do that, what you are moving towards is already moving towards you.
Right, right. And you said something that resonated really well. A lot of people, successful people make things look easy, right? But most people don't see the back work. They don't see the 40 years or 30 years or 50 years that Marisa has been out there grinding and reinventing herself and staying up with technology and making changes and adjusting and the sleepless nights and the long days and the training and the learning and the growing. We don't see any of that. We just see the persona on the stage and we assume that magically it happens. But I want to talk into something else that you cited Whitney Houston and Amy Winehouse and people that achieve incredible levels of success, but yet they still wrestle with their demons. Okay. If you were working with someone like Whitney or somebody like Amy, how would you have helped them tame those demons? What would have been a process?
Well, it's really the enoughness. You have to go back to I'm enough. Many people like Amy and Whitney and even George Michael, even Michael Hutchence, when they have a talent like that and they just open their mouth and magic comes out, because it's so easy, they actually don't value. It's what I call the self-destruction of talent. I got this voice, I've got this body, but I didn't really work for it. See, if you were an Uber driver and you really worked hard to go on a vacation, you probably enjoy every minute. You save up for a smart TV or a computer and you really value it because you worked for it. When you get things very easily, you don't value them. It's why, amazingly, 70% of lottery winners are completely bankrupt in 3 years. If you just get given stuff, it has no value. That, as a parent, when your kid says, "Mom, I've dropped my phone, I'm going to have another one," you have to say, "No, I'm really sorry, you can't have it." I mean, I bought my daughter an apartment and she put a cup with a candle in the dishwasher and said, "Mum, the dishwasher's a write-off." I'm like, "Well, you're not having another one. You're going to have to wait a year now. Wash everything by hand because I bought you this really nice dishwasher and you put stuff in it. Maybe it was a mistake, but clearly you're not thinking." And when I did get her another one, I got her the cheapest one on the market, but she had to wait a year because if you keep giving people stuff, they don't learn, they don't value. If even in dating, it's like if you meet someone, the minute you meet them, you cook them dinner, you have sex with them that night, they're not pursuing, they're not putting any effort in. So you have to value yourself enough and you have to feel that you're giving value. So when anything is easy, it's really hard. I see that in schools all the time, and I think schools make a massive mistake. They always give awards to the person who's achieved something, and you shouldn't award achievement. You should award effort. The kid that works the hardest to write that essay should get the award, not the gifted one who just gets out their pen and produces something. Because effort makes you feel good. I worked for that. I earned that. I chased after that. I gave that my everything. But when we get anything easily, one of my saddest clients was someone who bought his kid a Porsche when he was 17 and he took off on a ride and he had a crash and he didn't kill himself. He killed his best friend's son. Wow. But why would you give a 17-year-old a Porsche when they've just passed their driving test? It sets them up to value nothing. I had a little VW Beetle and I had to have a paving slab in the back of it because it was a bit unbalanced. But I loved that car because I saved up for it. I babysat. I worked, had to pay for my own driving lessons. And I think it's getting stuff so easily that makes us not value it. And that's what I see with people like Amy, people like George Michael, people like Michael Hutchence, they have such a gift. And we love them because they have a gift, but they feel that I didn't really earn this. This came to me so easily, rather like the lottery winners, because it came to me so easily. I just got to get rid of it all because I'm not worth it. And it goes back to that. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I shouldn't have this. I feel guilty having it. Therefore, if you feel guilty having it at any level, even unconsciously, you will set about systematically destroying it.
For a person like that, what would be some very simple, I know nothing is simple, primarily when we are wired from childhood, from it's nothing is simple to be able to fix, but what are some simple steps that you recommend for someone that is struggling with, there's a certain, and I can categorize myself in that category for a very long time, right? I was a young Mexican boy that came to the States in pursuit of the American dream. Very, very poor family, one of 13, achieved great success by the age of 24, but I kept sabotaging. I built sabotage. Addiction got in the way, alcohol, women, toys, you name it, right? Until I was able to go and pick up that little boy, embrace him, take him out of the boardroom, take him out of the relationships, take him out of the partnerships, and really started working on myself. But somebody, how can you work with someone like a Whitney Houston, George Michael, that yet they're validated because of what they do?
Well, I think it comes down to a couple of things. One is, can I do any good with this voice? There are people like Shakira who do amazing things, like Lady Gaga, who are always behind them supporting charities. I think it's Shakira looks after abandoned dogs, but there are many people who use their platform. For instance, Angelina Jolie did that. She said, I never wanted to be an actress. I want to be a humanitarian. But the only way I can be a humanitarian is to become an actress. I know she's got a lot of bad press recently, but, she has done a lot of good. And I think if you can do anything good, start a charity. So Oprah Winfrey has children's schools in Africa. Start a school. Do something good. Use your voice to do something good. Like we have football player Marcus in England who's raised 200 million to feed children, and he's only 23 years old, but he's used his platform. I've got a voice, I've got an audience, what can I do that's good? Or ask yourself, who will benefit from me being famous? Because the more people you can list, the better it is. Of course, that isn't about who's going to be on my payroll, because that was Whitney's problem. My whole family, everybody was on her payroll. Sure. And she had to keep working. But it's like, can I do anything good? If you can do something good with a platform, the more good you can do, the more reasons you'll have to validate, well, I deserve to be successful. Look who's benefiting from my success. Look who's going to help. So sit down and think, what good could you do in the world? What could you do? Could you fund a kid's education? Could you sponsor some children in an orphanage? Could you do something good? And if the answer is yes, then you're not doing it just to be rich and famous. You're doing it because so many people behind you benefit from what you're doing. And when you do that, you won't have any need to destroy it because you're doing something and it's good.
Marisa, as we talked earlier, personal development, affirmations, manifestations, law of attraction, the secret, change, transformation has been democratized, has been demonetized, and has been digitized. Okay, it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. So there's a generation, the young generation. I call it the Gary Vee generation. That Gary Vee talks about the hustle, right? Go out there, figure out how to make some money, how to buy stuff on the internet, how to resell it. Easy, quick, immediate gratification. Almost like there's no borders to success. Yet that's not the reality. Okay, how do we grow the mindset to be able to, yes, achieve those things that you want to achieve, at the same time be grounded enough to be able to realize what is our purpose in life, and realize that it's not that easy. The world does not everybody's going to be a Gary Vee. Not everybody's going to be a Tony Robbins. Not everybody, but there's plenty of opportunity to be successful and to live a happy, fulfilling life. How do we turn that mindset to believe that from a very simple perspective for the average individual, for the listener of this podcast, the 600,000 plus people that listen to this podcast every month? How do we get to them? How do we service them? How do we help them just be productive members of their community to deal with their daily challenges?
And that's such a good question, because it starts with, what does success look like? Does success mean raising great kids, having some cats or dogs, loving your home life, loving your community? And I think we've diminished that. For me, things that give me the greatest joy, being with my animals, getting into clean sheets. It's always the little things that give us immense joy. The first shower, the first cup of coffee in the morning. And I think, a lot of people think, well, I'm just a housewife. I'm just a mom. I'm just a something. And it's such a shame that we do that. Years ago, somebody was driving me I was filming, and we got to the thing, and the guy said, well, who's that? And he said, who are you? He said, oh, I'm a nobody. I said, don't ever say that. You're not a nobody. You're a somebody to someone. And I think we've decided that the pursuit of fame is everything, and owning stuff is everything. And it really isn't. Our greatest joy in life, without exception, is our relationships with other people. That is what gives us joy. People that we love and love us. And I work with many rock stars. I'm always on tour. I'm in a different hotel room every night. My wife and kids are at home, and my husband and kids are at home, and I miss them. So there's that great song by, is it Michael Bublé? I just want to be where you are. I'm so far away from you. And, it's being with other people, having the time to notice your kid growing up, having time to just sit with your partner and smell the coffee. And we're pursuing fame for the wrong reason. I want to be rich. I want to be successful. I want everything. And yet I've met so many people. I'll give you an example. One of my clients is a huge rock star. Said he was in a hotel in a master suite. He said, I don't want any of this. Can I just be in a tiny little room? I just can't bear this big suite. It's like a big suite in Las Vegas, and I'm lost in here. And I know that to be true, because one of my friends was adopting a child, and they said, she needs a little bedroom. They don't want a massive room with they want a little tiny room that's kind of womb-like. And we don't really like having children adopted by super wealthy people, because they expect so much, and we just want normal people to adopt normal kids and live a normal life. And I know that, again, because many of my clients are wealthy. So I want my kid to be a nurse. One of my clients said, I want my kid to be a nurse. I don't want her to be a musician or a singer. One of my friends, who's a very famous dancer, said, I would hate my kid to do what I did, because I was always on the road, so lonely, getting with the wrong people just for companionship. So you have to stop and think, why do I want success? And you really want it because it will make you feel good enough. People think that success damages people, fame damages people. It's actually the other way around. Damaged people are drawn to fame because it will make them feel enough. Here am I.
Wow.
I don't feel good enough. But if I'm famous, look at Marilyn Monroe, everybody will love me. And they pull it off because of that I need to believe I matter. I need to feel I'm enough. I'm not enough. So I'm going to go to fame, and then I'll know I'm enough. But of course, when you get fame, people point out all your flaws. And then you think, oh, I really thought going from here to there would solve all my problems. And we saw that with poor Britney Spears, who imploded on camera, shaved off her hair, because it's such a fake thing. If I'm famous, everybody will love me. Well, they might, but you still won't love you. So it isn't that fame damages you. It's that many damaged people are drawn to it. In other words, I don't want fame. I don't want that. I met somebody who won the equivalent of excellence. I don't even want it. He walked away after this. I don't want it. It's so fake. It's not for me. So decide what you want. Do you want love? Do you want recognition? Do you really want fame? And why do you think you want it? Because you'll feel good about yourself? Well, you can have all of that without fame. You can decide, I love myself. I love my life. I'm doing something really worthwhile. You don't have to be famous or even mega wealthy. And many people find that actually is hugely disappointing. So remember, your relationships with people are what make you happy. And the basis of all friendship is that we choose people who share our vulnerabilities. When you pretend you haven't got any, no, I'm great, me, I'm rich, I'm famous, look at this body, I've got no vulnerabilities. That makes you lonely. People like Judy Garland and Marilyn said, nobody ever asked me out. I was on a movie set. No one said, hey, do you want to come and have dinner with me and the family? Because they think you don't want to come to that. And so there's a great song by Seal. It's the loneliness that's the killer. And a famous life can be an incredibly lonely life. So on your deathbed, you're going to think about who you loved and who loved you and what did you do that had meaning. And you're not going to find that on a film. You're going to find that in the arms of your children, your partner, your friends.
Wow. Marisa, let's talk about the simple individual like me that is just basically looking for an opportunity to be happy and allows self-talk to sabotage whatever they do. And how do we change that? And you said something a minute ago that triggered that question. You said about your friend that didn't want their kid to be grow up to be whatever they were, to be a star because they didn't want them to. I would hate for my child. I would hate using that type of vocabulary and the impact that vocabulary has in sabotaging the quality of life that we live. Negative self-talk. And how do we squash it? How do we change it?
Well, happiness is not a destination. There's no terminal called happiness. Happiness is an inside job, and you have to decide, I'm happy right now. You have to wake up and go, I'm happy, I'm here, I'm alive. It's like people say about getting older. Well, getting older is a privilege. I mean, you don't want the alternative. It's like, yeah, we all get older, but oh, I'm so old, I feel old. But that's a gift to be able to get old that not everyone has. So I think happiness is changing your perspective. I'll be happy when my kid's out of diapers. I'll be happy when my kid finishes school. I'll be happy when we're on holiday. I'll be happy when I've lost 10 pounds. I got a nicer home. But you can't go to happiness. I'm happy right now. Even 10 pounds overweight, I'm happy right now. Even living in a house that's too small, I'm happy. You have to choose happiness. And when you choose happiness, you choose it by waking up and going, I love my life. I love this shower. I love this show. I love my first cup of coffee. I'm savoring it. I love hearing the birds sing. Because when you can find simple little things like, last night I flew into America. My cats jumped on the bed. They were so happy to see me. I thought, I'm so happy. I'm lying in this lovely bed with these two cats that actually kept waking me up all night. But it was so nice, and they were so happy. It's little things that make you happy. It's never big things. People don't say, yeah, it's like a bit like if somebody bought you hundreds and hundreds of gifts and you were really successful. You'll find the homemade gift, someone who made you something, painted something. Or parents will say, when my kid made me something rather than bought it, it meant so much. So the first thing is that happiness is an inside job. And if you can decide to be happy right now where you are and keep looking for what makes you happy, like birding, hearing kids laugh, having a bath, as silly as it sounds, when you wire your mind to find happiness where you are, you wire your mind to find happiness all the time. But you can't say to someone, hey, can you make me happy? I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if. It's a state of mind, it's an inside job. And it also is a choice. You have to always choose happiness, even in the most difficult situation. It's like, I was watching England in the World Cup, we really hoped they'd win and they didn't win. But, they did incredibly well. They got to the final. They did amazing stuff. And it's such a shame that we lost. You didn't lose, you came second. That's an amazing thing to come second. And you are right, you need to look at your dialogue, just say, I lost. What I didn't lose, I came second. I was, one of my clients is a Wimbledon champion, and when he didn't win one year, he said, I can't believe I said, but you didn't fail. Second is good. You don't have to be first. People say, I've got to be the best, but it's better to say, I'll be amongst the best. I'll be one of the best. It's stressful to be the best of the best of the best. And so look at how you dialogue with yourself. Talk to yourself like your own. Don't look in the mirror and go, oh, look at the state of me. I look at you and say, hey, I'm a lovely person. I'm kind, I'm funny, I'm nice. Just being nice to yourself, giving up that critical self-talk and praising yourself. One of the best ways you can find to be happy, bar none, is to take a minute and think about what I call the missing bit of you. We're always saying, I'm just waiting to meet some great guy because my dad wasn't there. So I need a guy to film with this. I need a boss to recognize I'm good. I need someone to say you're good, you're kind, you're lovable, whatever it is you want to hear. Take a minute and say it to yourself. As odd as that may sound, as weird as that may sound, if you think of what I call the missing words, I want to believe I'm lovable. I want to believe I'm special. I want to believe I matter. Well, say that to yourself. I matter. I'm lovable. I'm significant. If everybody every day just woke up and sat around the breakfast and said these 4 things: I matter, I'm significant, I'm enough, and I'm lovable just the way I am, trolling, bullying would really be massively diminished. Because we go around, we're going, hey, could somebody out there make me feel good? Maybe, but maybe not. But you have the power to make yourself feel good, fulfilled, and lovable by thinking about the words you've always wanted to hear and saying them to yourself. Because when you give someone else the permission, it's your job to make me feel good. Well, they can stop that job anytime they like. But when you do it, nobody can ever take it away. You know, somebody said to Meryl Streep once, and I love this, she went for the part of King Kong, and the director said, Meryl, you're not beautiful enough to play the part. You need to find another career. And she said, well, that's just one opinion. There's 2 opinions. I need to find a different opinion. And I love that in her, that she didn't allow a director to say, you're not pretty enough. And if you ever saw her in Out of Africa, when Robert Redford was watching, I defy you to say she was beautiful in that. But you don't have to be beautiful to be an actress. There are other attributes. But she didn't allow him to say no. When someone said to Naomi Campbell, Naomi, black girls don't get on the cover of Vogue, that door is shut. She went, shut? I'll kick it open. And I love that about her, because they said, you can't say no to me. Only I can say no to me.
Wow.
And maybe someone's dumped you, and that's a terrible thing. Someone you love has dumped you, but everything they loved in you once, or the cards they sent when they went, so I just called to hear your voice because you're the best. They didn't pack that in their case and take it with them when they left. Everything they loved in you is still there. And you can find someone else that loves you just as much. So it's really about, don't give up your power. Don't let someone say you're not enough. You're not beautiful enough, tall enough, smart enough, educated enough. Don't let anyone do that. Whatever you want to hear, tell yourself, because there is nothing that will build your self-esteem better than praise. But self-praise is more powerful than the praise of other people, because the mind, if I say to you, oh, you're so great, oh, I love you, you're amazing, you're already thinking, what do you want? And the mind knows that we have an agenda, but when you say it to yourself, the mind knows there's no agenda. If you say it, it must be true. Whatever you tell the mind, it believes, and it lets in. And so you might as well tell yourself, amazing, I'm an idiot, I'm smart, I'm a loser, I'm a winner. The mind doesn't know, and it doesn't care if what you tell it is good or bad, right or wrong, useful or useless. It just lets it in. So when you tell yourself better things, I mean, my new book is called Tell Yourself a Better Lie, because when you tell yourself better things, it just changes your entire life.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Marisa, the daughter of a headmaster, okay? You were told once you needed to be a nanny. You sang jingles for a KFC. I didn't sing jingles for KFC. No, that certainly wasn't. Okay, my apologies. I stand corrected. You had cancer twice.
I did.
Where did Marisa appear? Where was she born? Where did this strength, this self-confidence, this persona come from? We're told you couldn't have children.
Yeah. So I look back at my life and I wouldn't change any of it, but I was very lucky. I was born to an interesting family. My mother was a hypochondriac. I was always ill. And my father was a head teacher. And my father loved his job. And my mother would throw herself down the stairs, and she was very dramatic. My father would pick up his briefcase and go to work. And I watched this every day. My mother was so unfulfilled and so unhappy. My father just loved being a head teacher, what you call a principal. And as a tiny kid, I knew you got to have a great job. You got to have a job that's so fulfilling. And it wasn't if, it's that when relationships go wrong, you got something that will give you everything. So my father, without knowing it, taught me that a great job fulfills you. And of course, he was the head teacher. He loved kids. He got so much back. In fact, when he died a few years ago, he said to me, I've had a wonderful life. I've just had the best. He always thought he had the best job in the world. And so he always showed me, find something that gives you purpose, find a job that gives you meaning and purpose and significance. And I always knew that my happiness would come from having a phenomenal career. It wasn't about having a phenomenal relationship, because my parents' relationship was just a car crash. I mean, they must have had great sex when they met, because they had nothing in common. And so I didn't see a wonderful, happy marriage. I saw somebody who was fulfilled by a career. My dad used to always say, helping other people is what life is all about. He always stopped and picked up hitchhikers. He'd give people money. I remember being a fun fair with him, and this guy was being attacked, and my dad charged in there and rescued him, because his whole reason for living was about helping people. And so I saw that, and of course I modeled that. I thought, yeah, because I was told I couldn't have children very early, and I thought, well, I better be a nanny, because maybe if I can't have children, raising other people's children would be a good thing. But I'm so glad, not there's anything wrong with being a nanny, that I didn't do that. And of course I have my own wonderful daughter. I have stepchildren. But I think I knew what I was going to do very early on. I knew that I wanted to help people, particularly children. And I think coming from such a strange family and seeing that, you know, we literally had a house with a white picket fence. That's how it was. But I saw that wasn't, that it's all fake, you know, mum, dad, 3 kids, it all looks lovely, but it wasn't lovely. It was just trauma with a capital T. Although at the time I never thought it was that bad, but I always knew that, just like my dad said, making a difference, helping people is what life is all about. So I'm very lucky that I went into a career where I could make a difference and help people. And not long ago, I was looking at the reasons people stay in a job. And the reasons people stay in a job is if they can make a difference, if they feel significant. You know, we all have the same needs. We need connection. We need certainty, we need diversity, we need to feel significant, we need to grow and contribute and make a difference. And there's not actually that many jobs. Weirdly enough, being a fireman gives you all of those. And for me, it was like, wow, how many jobs are there out there where you can meet all these needs? Every day I feel connected to people I'm helping, and they help me. Every day I feel significant. People write me and say, hey, you changed my life, you saved my life. I have certainty because my job's not ever going to end. I'm never going to retire. Diversity, because it's different. I know that I'm contributing and growing and making a difference. And so I have this great job, but it gives me as much as I give anyone else. And so I feel blessed every day that I saw that from my dad, and I followed his path differently. But he always wanted me to be a teacher. And he was very disappointed when I walked out of teacher training college. But now I think it's so funny. He wanted me to be, and I am a teacher. Probably go, oh, you're my teacher, and you taught me something amazing. And he'd be so pleased now if he knew that I was a teacher, just like him, just a different teacher. And Wycliffe Jean was telling this story, which I thought was very profound. His father was a preacher, and he always wanted Wycliffe to preach. And Wycliffe didn't want to be a preacher. And a little while ago, I was working with this kid who'd become a drug dealer, and thought that was very, because he was connected to all these dealers. And I told him the lyrics of Wycliffe's song, this is for my brothers on the inside, this is for my brothers on the other side. When you sell crack, you go inside or on the other side. I said, darling, you know, that's where you're going to go. There's no other way. And it was just the lyrics of that song that changed him. And I met Wycliffe and I told him the story, and he was so impressed. And he said, you know, when his dad was dying, he said, you are a preacher, but you've got a better and a bigger audience than me. Because his lyrics, which I thought was such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So it's, can you make a difference through lyrics of a song, through writing a book, through helping people? If you, when you do what you love, You always have meaning and purpose. When you make a difference, that's meaning and purpose on steroids. So wherever you are in your life, whatever you're doing, if someone else on the planet is easy because it's something you do, you've already made a difference, whether that's writing a book, whether that's giving a little talk, whether that's doing something in your community. If you can somehow serve other people, you'll always make a difference.
Wow. Incredible.
And you'll always have purpose, and nobody can ever take that away.
Absolutely. Marisa, what was your biggest lesson for 2020?
My biggest lesson for 2020, I traveled so much. So actually, COVID, forced me to stay home. And I had a lot of things went on in 2020. Our house got completely flooded from top to bottom. We went back to England. My little girl's dad died. And then we couldn't get back into America because the borders were shut. So there was lots of challenges. But my big lesson, again, was that happiness is a choice. There was a lot of great things about being back. My daughter got engaged, and that was really lovely. I think my biggest lesson is wherever you are, choose to be happy. Here I am, my house is flooded. I got to find a rental. I was still happy. In fact, the rental we got ended up being amazing. Being in England, not being able to get back to America, actually, it was amazing. At one stage, we had to go to Turkey because you couldn't get into America from the UK, but you could from Turkey if you stayed there for 2 weeks. I didn't want to go. I had the best time. In fact, I loved every minute. And just recently, we were in Mexico again to get back into America yesterday. And all the things I didn't want to do, I actually ended up loving. So, and then when it was lockdown, somebody gave me this crate of 7 kittens that were about to be euthanized and said, could you keep them in your garage? I said, sure. This is just for a weekend. I think I kept them for 7 months. I've still got 2 of them. And they gave me immense joy. So I learned in 2020 that, again, little things. It's always the little things that give you joy. Coming home, having someone to come home to, having someone to put their arms around you.
Wow.
It's always the little things. In my entire life, I can look back and it's the little things that have always given me the most pleasure. I mean, I've won a lot of awards and I love having those awards, but it's having a little baby put their hand in yours. And so my daughter said to me once, Mummy, because I'd always say to my daughter, you're a smart cookie. She said, Mummy, you're a very clever biscuit, aren't you? And I remember that. She said, Mummy, you just know everything. And so I think being a parent probably gave me the most joy. And now, although my daughter's grown up, it still gives me joy. Having a wonderful marriage gives me joy. And I think everybody should notice that again, it's your interactions with people that will give you the most joy in your life, always, without question.
Marisa Peer, what are you working on today? What projects are coming up for you?
Well, my new book, Tell Yourself a Better Lie, is coming out in October, and I'm really pleased with it because it's a different book. This book is 10 clients' case histories of what happened to them, how they transformed, and how each client was telling themselves a lie. Nobody loves me. I can't get pregnant. Whatever I do, I can't lose weight. And I'm really proud of that book because I'm so pleased with the 10 people who said, please share my story with the world because it will help them. So I'm working on that. We've just converted our TT into Spanish. We've got this amazing, I created our TT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, and we've trained 10,000 people. We've just started teaching it in Spanish, and we're going to teach it in German next. I always wanted to revolutionize therapy, which isn't to diminish therapists, but it's the only medical treatment that says turn up with your pain. And we're going to spend a long time discussing it. No one goes to the dentist, goes, hey, I've got an impact. Can I have I'm getting my heart's beating irregular. Can I have a discussion? Hey, I've really hurt my foot. Can we talk about it? And it's such a strange thing that therapy says, let's discuss it and build up trust and we'll get better. When I was in New York, out of the blue, I went into anaphylactic shock in the street. That's never happened before. And my sister got an ambulance and I have no idea who treated me because I passed out and I came to in this hospital. And I never met the people that saved me. I didn't build any trust with them because I was unconscious. And it's just not true that we need this long relationship to get better. So I wanted to simplify therapy. And now I'm doing the same thing for coaching. We're just bringing out rapid transformational coach because we want to make coaching easier, simpler. Einstein said, simplify, simplify. So I simplified therapy, and I'm very glad it was simplifying coaching. And we're releasing our training in Spanish and then German. And it's just the most lovely feeling in the world to turn out and people go, hey, I was in Mexico last week, and someone said, I was in a yoga class, and I said, oh my God, are you Marisa Peer? You changed my life. I was a really struggling artist, and now I'm successful. And then someone at breakfast came up and said, oh, you don't know me, but I got married and had a baby because of you, because I felt unlovable, and I joined your I'm Enough movement, and here I am. And so that's just an amazing thing that all over the world I find people who've been impacted by I'm Enough or RTT. And yeah, so we're always making it bigger and better. We've got 10,000 people doing this all over the world, making an amazing difference. But having it in Spanish is so exciting. And
yes.
German.
I love it.
And you're from Mexico.
Yes, I'm from Mexico City. I was born in Mexico City, and my family migrated. Yeah.
No, I had no idea. In England, we have no idea what Mexico City is. I was there 2 weeks ago, went to Frida Kahlo's museum. It was just the most beautiful place. The buildings, the roads, the museums, the parks. It's really people have kept that a secret. I thought it was extraordinary. And we're actually doing our RTT training in Mexico in November this year.
I love it.
So this year, we're training people in Miami, in Los Angeles, in London, and in Mexico City, and possibly in the Bahamas too. So we really get to go to great places and meet amazing people.
So all of this are live events?
They're all live, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mexico, London, LA, Miami, all live.
And how do you feel about live events based as the live remote events? Are you comfortable with doing those? Are people rushing back out? Are we hungry?
We just did 2 live events in London. They were residential. For the first time, we rented this massive place. It was like an English stately home with rooms, and everybody stayed. And we'd never done that before. And it was such fun to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with people, to really connect. There were 70 of them, and then there was me and all my staff, and we had a pool and a spa. And it was such fun. We're doing it again in October. But live is great because it's the connection. We are wired from the minute we're born to find connection and to avoid rejection. And, rejection is very painful because not long ago we used to die from it. But anything that gives you connection is something to be celebrated. And I love all my students. I remember them all. I connect to them. I love my staff, my trainers. I'm so lucky because my husband, my sister, my daughter, her fiance all work for our company. So it really is a tribe, a family. But I love the lives because it's that connection. It's amazing.
I love it. Where can people find you, Marisa?
So marisapeer.com, if you want some free products, if you want to find free audios, we don't ask for your credit card, I promise. If you want audios on love blocks, wealth blocks, health blocks, go to marisapeer.com. If you want to train with me, and by the way, no therapy background is required. If you want to train with me or find someone who's trained with me in English or Spanish or lots of other countries too, go to rtt.com. And if you want to join the I'm Enough movement, go to imenough.com.
The incredible Marisa Peer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much.